Hey there, hey there, hey there. So I will be doing, one of the Ascended today, which is, which I kind of based on the limit configuration. I know the last one was, based on, Morningstar. That devil. Anyway, this one is, known as the Inquisitor of Lament. It's a shadow of the Hangman Arcana, which basically means it's the reverse one. There is a right side up, yeah, to all of them. I won't be going over that, though. Alright, now. This being resembles a giant head and resembles a great head and face of a baby, and once an come on, don't get tongue tied. All right, come down. Once a new creation called in to reward humanity and the tulpas born of their mind after their will and their toils and their struggles, now sealed in a large box resembling a puzzle-like contraption, and a great maw of blackness without light and mercy draws souls into torment and suffering in a pocket realm inside of its own stomach. Its box is actually a construct that it pilots, and that shoots out chains with hooks and blades that slice under its own design, made by a once innocent being that became corrupted from its purpose. For thought that humanity's suffering and toil, their blood, sweat, and tears should not be given just reward, but serve the pleasure of the greater itself and its views, and what it thought under the muse of darkness's rhetoric and teachings it would preach, then lead its friends and allies into, but that humanity should suffer for what it considered the greater good, for the glory of the celestial worlds. It's part in the box of evils incident that the Muse of Darkness created. The goal it shared was to simply leave humanity's will in a darkened, deluded state, where it could be led to hurt each other, where they could be led to hurt each other and believe they're heroes for doing so, and invent all kinds of ways to inflict pain, to torment and gain, and produce cheap pleasures at the expense of souls and freedoms of humans and tulpas alike, so that it could make the order it wanted. The only people who would sacrifice themselves willingly by delusion, or bound by threats and force, or for the glory of traitors of the goddess of creation, while laughing, snickering, howling, and with laughter and sadistic glee as people sacrifice themselves and then each other for lies after lies after lies throughout history, that gained traction and became dogma and policy, and were imposed on others against their will. That order, it thought, proved that humanity and its creations deserved suffering by its cruel manipulations rather than any true just reward. But as it had set up a prison built on suffering and torment, it took pleasure, and within the halls of its inquisitions and witch hunts, for those who questioned things too much or opposed what he and his allies built. The reckoning would find it, and it would be snared in a snare that claimed many of its allies, great and small, and finally stopped the false martyrdom and torment imposed on others, and would die not by torment, but by a quick, decisive blow that would silence its hordes forever. For Arachne had hunted a long, long time, and with the help of her successors and allies, would find the prison at the edges of time and space it had built as its final prison after it had fled from the curse of the spider that had claimed so many of its allies, yet continued in its vile work while Arachne and her allies, dreams, and her successors together, would witness the horrors that the Inquisitor of Lament's cruelties had made so many scarred and unrecognizable, after making them disappear from the world as part of its one last push to enforce its already crumbling order by that time, which even hiding out in the rim of the most distant galaxy near the outer darkness couldn't stop the curse of the spider from coming along, and its torments that enforced with delusion and corruption have finally come to an end. Mm, mm, mm. So, how did you guys like that? Was that nice? Thank you for listening, and I hope you had plenty of fun. Oh, wait, did I? Whoops. Oh, well. That's fine. That's fine. I don't need it up anyway on Twitch. Goodbye. Goodbye.